Hey fam, welcome back. It is your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I wanted to come and share with you the best relationship advice, the best marriage advice, specifically from those of the people out there who've received this marriage advice. And so I did an actual poll on my Facebook page, and I just simply asked, what was the best relationship / marriage advice that you've ever received? And I have 15 of the best answers that have come up for me. A lot of these were repeats, so it wasn't like one person said this stuff, but a lot but a lot of them were actually the ones that just really stood out to me that I wanted to come here and share with you. So I have 15 of them. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into them since the list is kind of long. And of course I wrote them down, so when y'all see me, when y'all be seeing me, when y'all see me, I'm definitely gonna be looking down today. The first one is never do anything once that you don't want to always do. This one translates into the dating game. So people say that they lose interest or they feel that their spouse has changed after they have said I do. This is one of the reasons why, because the things that you were doing to get your spouse, you really didn't mean to do those things. You were just trying to impress your spouse, and now it's time to continue to do those things. It's time to continue to deliver that that thing that you were doing, taking me X place, bringing me flowers, whatever it is that you were doing to get me. You stopped doing that, and now you wondering why I'm complaining. So this one is very important. Literally, don't wait for a marriage for this one. Take this into while you're dating as well, because never do anything once that you don't want to always do. This is one of the complaints that we hear from our spouses, that we hear from our friends, we hear from our coworkers. He just don't do the things that he did before. She just don't do the thing. This is it, because your representative was out on that date, and now you with them. You forgot the very thing that you did to get them. You have to continue to do. You forgot that point. So take that, run with it. The second thing is, literally, ladies and gentlemen, do not tell your parents how awful your spouse is. Like, literally, number one, there's several reasons for this one why you shouldn't do it, but really, when you are finished arguing over that thing, when you have gotten over said issue, when you guys are back on even keel, when you guys are he and having fun, y'all out taking selfies and posting them, you have gotten over said issue. You have gotten over said how he was talking to you. You have gotten over the fact that she didn't cook your food right. Whatever, right? You've gotten over it. But your family, and I said your parents because your parents are the number ones. And don't get it twisted. Your parents are there for you. They're always going to have your back. Even if they tell you that you did something wrong, they still got your back. And they're not even going to tell you that you did something wrong in front of your spouse. They're going to pull you to the side. Then they're going to tell you that you did something wrong. But in front of your spouse, they got your back. But again, you over it. You he, and you ha. They ain't forgot nothing. But that one also goes for your friends too. That one goes for all of your family, not just your parents. But specifically here, listen, your sisters, your brothers can get over things a lot faster than even your parents do, because secretly, quiet as it's kept, our parents do not even feel that our spouses, at least most of them, are even good enough for us. They're not good enough for their baby. Yeah, let that one sink in. So specifically, don't tell your parents how awful your spouse is, because they will not forget it. Years later, decades later, they won't forget that one thing that your spouse did to you. They won't forget it. You will. They won't. Don't do it to yourself. Number 3, marriage is what you make of it. Literally, marriage is what you make of it. If you always make and think and focus on the negative, your marriage will be negative. If you always think of all of the things that he does not do, that she does not do, That's what you're going to see. That is what you're going to focus on. If you are always in the house and your spouse is always out and about doing stuff, y'all start to build separate lives. Marriage is what you make it to be. If you're always sad, always yelling, screaming, cussing, fussing, fighting with each other, that is how you're going to see marriage. But on the flip side, if you guys are always positive, if you guys are sharing your lives together, you're constantly laughing, you're continuing to date, you're going to think that marriage is the best thing since sliced bread. Marriage is what you make of it. All right. Number 4, don't compare your union to anyone else's. Listen, sis, bruh, don't do it. Don't worry about how you think. You're assuming that your girlfriend has this amazing husband because you don't live with him. You live with your boo. And just like you complain about your boo, she complains about her man too. And men, I ain't forget y'all. Just like you think that your homeboy's girl is like cooking all the time, but yours is not. But guess what? Maybe they not having as much sex as you and your girl who don't cook. Like, don't compare your union to your friends, to your co-workers, to any of your family members, because marriage is what you make it. And you get to create the relationship that you want. You get to create the marriage that you want. And so if you want a better marriage, then do something to make it better. You don't have to compare your union to anybody else's. Do the things that you want to do in your marriage to make it happy-go-lucky, to make it the most memorable, to make it that relationship that you like, dang, we did that. We did that. We did that. Don't compare it to nobody else's. Create your own relationship. Create the relationship that you are so happy to be a part of, where everybody is coming to ask you questions about how you maintain such a healthy relationship. How do you maintain such a healthy marriage? How is your spouse always so happy? How are you always so happy? How come I don't never see y'all argue? How come it always looks like your marriage is flawless? Like, you become that person. Because you know deep down inside, it's not always that way, but you are creating the relationship. You are creating the marriage that you want. Don't compare your union to nobody else's. The 5th one, it's all about give and take. It really is. You're not going to win every battle. You're not going to win every conversation, nor are you going to lose every battle or lose every conversation. It's about give and take. It's about compromise. It's about, okay, this time you can have that, but guess what? The next time I'm going to choose where we get to go. It's about give and take. You know what? I'm actually glad that you decided to choose this restaurant because we've actually never been here together. I'm a bit skeptical, but I'm going to go along with it, and I'm going to have a good time because it's what you make of it. Make of every moment in your life. Not go and just... wish we ain't had to come here. You know I don't like to try new things. And you just make the experience just horrible. Like, get over that. Get over that and try and experience something new so you can make some new memories. Some things that you can literally look back upon and be like, you know what? It didn't even take all that. I don't even know why I was acting a diggity doggone fool. It didn't even take all that. He's so good to me. She's so good to me. They put up with all me and my BS. And why was I doing that anyway? Who knows? Like, it don't take all that. It don't. It's about give and take. It's about compromise. It's about doing your stuff as well as doing his stuff. It's about doing your stuff as well as it is about doing her stuff. It's about both of y'all. Because if you are the only one that's thinking of yourself in the relationship, maybe you are the narcissist. If you're the only one who's thinking about you in a relationship and you ain't thinking nothing about your spouse, you are super selfish. And really, marriage ain't for you anyway. Anyway, moving on. Number 6, pick or choose your battles. This one is absolutely true. Everything that come out of your spouse's mouth does not need to be addressed. In the sense, they coming to you with the complaint, you can move on with life. You know what? You know what, baby? You know what? You absolutely right about that. You know what? I actually hadn't even thought about that. Meanwhile, boiling up here. But after you do that, after a while, those things seriously won't even bother you. In the beginning, you're going to be thinking, I need to say something. I need to say something. I need to say something. But the more that you don't say anything, that you are practicing that muscle and building that muscle of not responding, not reacting, the better your relationship will be. The deeper your connection, because then your spouse will still feel that I'm able to come and just be myself with my spouse. That doesn't mean that you're going to agree with everything that your spouse says or does. It just lets your spouse know that you respect him, that you respect her enough to just be themselves. That doesn't mean you're going to agree with everything that comes out of their mouth or everything that they do. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be annoyed with them at some point, especially if this is something new for you, some new practice for you. But the more you practice holding your tongue, the more power that you actually have. Most people think that you become weak when you don't speak your mind. You don't have to speak your mind about everything. Literally choose your battles. So I actually read something recently where it said that it was talking about choosing your battles, and basically said, let all of the little things go. And then when you do have something to speak about where you feel that it's big to you, your spouse will actually hear you, because you're not the constant complainer about every single thing that comes out of their mouth. You're battling with them with about everything. Y'all going back and forth. Nah, that stuff don't even matter. Do you? And then when it does matter to you, that's when you speak up. So you hold all this stuff, and really you're not even holding it. I'm saying holding it, but you really just in one ear, not the other. In one ear, not the other. In one ear, not the that one matters. I need to address that one. Then in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Oh, that one matters. Let's discuss that one. That's choosing your battles. That's choosing your battles. It will make a world of difference in your relationship. Again, you will super be heard. Yes, I said that, super be heard, if you choose your battles and not try to battle your spouse on every single thing that they discuss with you, that they bring to the table, everything that you just do not agree with them saying or doing. Don't do that to yourself, because then you are the one who's constantly frustrated and thinking that you're the one who's doing all the work in the relationship. Don't do that to yourself. Choose your battles. Number 7, your spouse listen, couldn't even read it, but I'm about to say it. Your spouse isn't responsible for your happiness. You are. So if you are letting, air quotes, your spouse get you upset because they were snoring, because they pulled all the covers, because they talked to you in a not so great manner, because fill in the blank, you are letting your spouse or your happiness be dependent on what your spouse does, what they don't do, what they say, what they don't say, what they forget, what they remember. Nope. Giving them too much power. And when you give away your power like that, you become miserable. Happiness is a choice, but it's also your choice to make. Your spouse can add to your happiness, but they cannot make you a happy person or even a sad person. If you choose to let whatever they said get under your skin, that's a choice that you're making. If you choose to let anybody ruin your day, that's a choice that you're making. You have given the power to the other person, but you don't have to. The power and the choice is yours, and yours alone. You just have to remember that it's your choice, that it's your power. You're giving away your power every time you feel that you have to get upset or that your day is ruined. Don't do that. Your happiness is your happiness, and you create and make it all by yourself. You are in charge. You are responsible for your own happiness. Again, your spouse adds to it. He or she is not responsible for it. Number 8, Put your spouse first, even if your spouse isn't in that mindset. This will help so many of you all out there, literally putting your spouse first. Ideally, both of you should be putting each other first, because if you put your spouse first and your spouse is putting you first, y'all can't help but to win, because he is making sure that you're happy. You are making sure that she is happy. Y'all both are happy. Y'all can't help but to win. However, you should still do it even if your spouse is not in that mindset today, in this moment right now. You still should be doing it. I know that one is a tough one, but you still should be doing it. Put your spouse first, even if your spouse is not in that mindset yet. Because as I said, and I say it again right here, if you want your spouse to change, you have to first change yourself. We always look outside for the change that we are seeking. You must first look inside, become the change that you want your spouse to be, because after a while, it's not going to happen overnight. Please understand that. But after a while, your spouse, what you are doing, what you are showing, how you are showing up, can do nothing but rub off on your spouse. Because just think about it, the people that you surround yourself with the most, you pick up things from them. You pick up things from them, and it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Your spouse will do the exact same thing. So if you want them to change and do something, you have to first do it yourself. You have to be the example. Number 9, never consider divorce as an option. And I'm only putting a disclaimer after this one because some unions, and if you are Christian, because you guys know that I am, so of course I have to speak about that side of it. If you guys are Christian and we talk about the Bible and how God doesn't, like marriages. However, he also talks about in there that God puts the union, puts the people together. A lot of times we out here choose our mate and we do not let the higher power, the universe, for me, God, choose our mates. And then we wonder why we go down these roads and divorces actually are happening, because we are doing the picking, not God. So I'm putting a disclaimer on this one, even though I love it. If God has chosen your mate for you, okay, then I definitely will say do not consider divorce as an option. However, if you did the picking, that's a different story. That's how I'm going to leave that, okay? So the next thing, which is number 10, because again, I'm a Christian, we have to throw all of these in here. So keep God as the head of your marriage at all times. So it's God, husband, wife, children, everybody else. Okay, let me give it to you again. God, husband, wife, children, everybody else. That's the way it go. So all of you who are making all the decisions yourself, what happened to God? All of you who are leaving out your spouse, what happened to that level? All of you who are including your family into your relation, into your marriage, into your relationship, talking to them before you talk to your spouse, you forgot the order. And that's why you are having so many issues in your relationship, because you forgot the order. God, husband, wife, children, everybody else. That's the order. Cleave to your husband, cleave to your wife. Don't say your parents. All of us leave our parents. All of us leave our parents. Whether you're in a relationship or not, all of us leave our parents. Cleave to your husband, cleave to your wife. Of course, I'm not saying don't go and get any information from your parents. Of course not. But the person that you really should be speaking to, other than God, is your spouse. Number 11, I love this one so much, and not many of us think about it, which is a lasting marriage has its seasons and cycles. So don't leave when the winter comes. Every relationship, every marriage has ebbs and flows. We have our highs and lows. We have our summers or even spring, insert whichever one you love the best, and our winters. Every single marriage goes through highs, lows, ups, downs, spring, and winters. That doesn't mean you leave during the winter. You just throw in the towel. I'm sick and tired. It's not going the way it should go. I'm unfulfilled. I'm unhappy. Number 12. Love this one too. Extend grace to your spouse like Christ does for you. Let me give that to you again. Extend grace to your spouse like Christ does for you. Every time we sin, we don't go to hell. We say, you know what, God, I ain't mean to do that. Sorry about that, or whatever. And then you good. But we don't do that for our spouse. We don't do that for just people in general. But for this video, we talking about our spouses. So we're going to keep it there. If we did that more often, the relationship would be that much better, because as much as we logically know that none of us are perfect, we still are looking for our spouse to be perfect. We're still looking for our spouse to never mess up. We're still looking for our spouse never to get us angry or make us feel bad, etc., etc., etc. We know it logically, but we still hate it. Think about it for days. Why did he? Why did she? Number 13. It's when you guys are in an argument. That's when this is what I'm addressing right now. When you guys have gone through an argument or there is an issue that has not been resolved, remember that it's not you versus your spouse. It is you and your spouse versus the issue or problem. Let me give it to you again. It is not you versus me or you versus your spouse. It is you and your spouse versus the issue or the problem. If you guys come together, resolve said issue, these problems, these issues, these things that are lingering in the relationship can actually be resolved that much faster, and you guys can move on with the relationship that much more smoothly. But if you guys are battling, going up against one another, you guys are not on the same team. So you guys got to get on one accord and then figure out how to resolve the issue. Number 14. Marriage is about 100. Marriage is about giving 100, not 50-50. Both of you have to be 100% in order for the relationship to work, for it to thrive, for it to have that lasting power. If you're only giving 50%, that's an F. In school, 50% is an F. You're not giving enough if you're giving 50%. And 100, let me just be all the way real. To give 100% all of the time, that is a hard thing to do as well. Not impossible. You can give 100% the majority of the time. It is really hard to give 100% every day, day in and day out. I'll give you that. But 50%, you failing. If you're only giving 50% in your relationship, you are failing. You both have to be, you both have to be giving 100% most of the time, the majority of the time, in order for your relationship to thrive, for it to move on to that next level. Lasting power. Number 15. This one I actually got from one of the elders. This one was repeated multiple times, but I left it here because one of the elders have actually told this to me multiple times. And I wanted to leave it as one of the final ones because a lot of us still don't do it, which is, do not allow the sun to set on your anger. Resolve the issue before you guys go to sleep. Sometimes this is actually not possible to do because sometimes you just need to think about so you can be clear and have clarity about what you actually want to say instead of just saying what you want to say and then having to go back to the issue. That's my own personal opinion. However, this one was repeated so many times that I left it here because I felt that this was something that everybody needed to hear. However, everybody's not going to watch this lengthy video. I get that. So if you have watched this video this long. Congratulations, number one. But then number two, take this one, run with this one as much as possible. Don't allow the sun to set on your anger. Basically, don't go to bed angry. That's basically what this is saying. Don't go to bed angry. Resolve the issue as much as possible so you guys can actually sleep well. And again, if you made it this far in the video at 25 minutes, then I'm giving you a bonus one. Okay, so here's your bonus for staying around for the entire video. This one will save plenty of marriages, which is allow your spouse to be who he or she is. I have a coworker who gave me that information, and she's been married 30 plus years. The elder that I was talking about earlier, who gave the one about the sun don't set, he's actually been married for 35 years. And I'm bringing those two up because we don't listen to our elders, or at least I feel like we don't. Or it could just be that we don't really share this information because we are moving around, meaning that we are not around our family circle enough. And so when we get or find these elders who are sharing these they're sharing these diamonds, we have to be able to listen to what they're actually saying. And so when she actually told me to allow your spouse to be who he or she actually is, she's been doing this for over 35 years. Her husband is a go-getter. And go-getter meaning that he just likes to do different things that she's not necessarily interested in, but she does not hinder him. So he'll go on vacations by himself, and or just the places that she don't want to go. Like he'll go on to to India, or just places that she just doesn't want to go for whatever reason. Doesn't matter where he's going, but she doesn't necessarily enjoy doing everything that he still likes to do. But she doesn't hinder him. She doesn't say, "Hey, stay here with me. I'm going to be lonely. I need you here, don't go." She allows him to be who he needs to be, and then when he's happier, he brings all of that happiness and joy back to their relationship. So when they come back together, they're actually really cute. He still brings her flowers all the time, and she loves them. They're laughing and joking with each other, and they just have a really, really solid relationship. So she just allows him to be him, but he also allows her to be her, because he's not giving her all of these, he's not making her feel bad for not wanting to go on all of these trips that he goes on by himself. But they still travel together. He just travels alone to do the things that he still likes to do. Allow your mate, allow your spouse, allow your partner to be who he or who she is, and you guys will have so much better relationships. Again, she's been married for 35 years. The other gentleman has been married for 35 years. So take that into consideration when you are thinking about all of this best advice, marriage advice specifically, that you too can take into your relationship. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you stayed around these 28 minutes. Thank you. Love you. See you later. Bye.